So I had a background in project management. So I kind of used that skill to get in program management in nonprofits and worked in after school programs, worked at a museum, and supported some college and workforce readiness programs. And as you know, you can have several careers in a lifetime. So during COVID-19, I experienced another layoff, and I was really trying to figure out, what I would do, next. I knew that I had a lot of background in program and project management. And so a part of Texas Workforce Solutions, they told us about Metrix Learning. So I decided, hey, the project manager's in demand skills. So I decided just to take the courses. I had no idea where I was going to go with that, but I knew with project manager was a training. I say, well, this is this free training that's available. You can do it on your own time and digitally. So I decided to do that. I did not know after I started taking the training, someone reached out for me from Texas Workforce Solutions and told me about the WIOA grant. I had no idea about it, never heard of it. I was like, well, that sounds exciting. They said, well, it's really competitive. You can try out for it. But that time I was just aggressively taking all the project management courses as you can, because as you know, as certificates, you have to have a certain amount of hours. Then you have to actually qualify to take the exam. And then you actually take the exam. So I said, wait, why not? And so I did receive a scholarship. Of course, once you get the scholarship, you have to complete it for a certain amount of time, like 8 to 10 weeks. So I was actually excited to sign up for that. And I was able to get the certification exam paid for. And also additionally, they offer practice exams. Now, if you know anything about a certification, after you take all those hours of training, you need to take an exam. And what I like about that exam, you had a license for maybe about 30 to 60 days. And until you pass that practice exam, then you're really ready to do that. So that's how I did the project management exam. And then as a result of that, they came back and said, hey, we have some more in-demand skills if you want to take another training. And so I also did that to take the Excel training. And so I was excited about that.
Okay. So you've done a lot in a short amount of time, because the project management courses I know in and of themselves they're pretty in depth, right? It's the content and the information, whether you're sitting in a classroom or in this case, you went online. And then to prepare yourself to sit for the exam. So I'd love to hear, because we work with workforce boards across the country, and we also work with partners of workforce development boards across the country. Could you talk to us from a lens of a customer, what we would normally call a job seeker, right? Can you talk to us about what you thought about the platform? And this sometimes, right, we get the not so what we'd hope to hear, and that's good. I mean, that only helps us make it better. But also, like, what are the things you really enjoyed about it? So, what are some of those things you, from the job seeker or the student lens, I'm sorry, I guess I'll call it a student or learner lens, thought was really great about the system, and where would you like to see some improvements? That's where I'd like to start if we could.
Okay, sure. So for me, as you know, if you're a job seeker or you're doing part-time work or whatever your situation is, I like the flexibility of being able to do it on my own time. Now, if you are a job seeker who doesn't have digital access, if you have to go to a library or something, that can be a challenge because you only have maybe 2 hours that you can allocate to check out a computer, whereas something like project management is over like 35 hours. So that could be a challenge. But in my case, I had access to my own computer. So, that made it a lot easier.
One of the things that we often talk with workforce boards about is bringing community partners in to being a part of the offering. And to that very point, right? We know there are people within communities across the country that don't have access to a computer or to internet. And so if they can work with their local libraries or a community action program, or in some cases, maybe a shelter, right? So can you just circle back? I wanted to know, how did you originally find out about the free online training?
So Texas Workforce Solutions, so our workforce sent out an email and said, hey, there's some free training available through Metrix Learning. And then knowing that also what the in-demand skills are within your region, that was very helpful as well, because they have the track identified and they tell you all the courses that align with that particular certification.